You ever feel like you're behind in life? Like you're not on the right path, or maybe you're not where you should be right now? Well, let me tell you, I've been there too. And you don't have to worry because God already has it figured out. He already has the plans in place for where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there. There's a reason why people say trust God's timing and not your own. Because it's true. Because your timing is limited to the world you live in, to the daily life you have. Your timing is limited to the future you think you have and the past that you've lived. See, God is outside of space and time. So he already knows where you need to be. And look, you right now, you are exactly where God needs you to be. That's not something we can control. We make mistakes and we go on our own journeys, but God will use you right where you are. It doesn't matter if you think you're lost, if you think that you have spent too much time and now you're behind. Let me tell you about my life. I am in college right now, but I was in flight school not too long ago. Last year, I was thinking I was going to become a pilot. We had a whole party at my house, and everyone was celebrating me going to flight school because I thought that's what I was going to do. I go through a semester of that, and I had a good time. It was fun, but I started to develop this anxious feeling in my stomach because I knew I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And yeah, I probably could have done that, became a pilot, and God would have used me there too. But I trust the gut feeling that God gives me. It's called discernment, and I trust that every day. And I believe this anxiousness wasn't caused by just my circumstance of flying. Like I wasn't scared of being in the air. I was scared because I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And so I spent a whole, 4, 5, 6 months flying airplanes and doing stuff. And then I got out of it. And just like that, I'm 6 months behind everybody else. Just like that, I have no idea what I'm going to do in my life. I have no idea what my future is. I have no idea what my career is going to be. And I felt like I was lost, felt so behind where I was supposed to be. But it's okay because God will make up for the lost time. And he did in my life, and he's continuing to. So I got out of that, went to work for a while I was figuring out what I wanted to do, went back to school where I am now, and I have this podcast. I have this channel. I've done a lot of different things, but I've always came back to talking about God. I've always known that there was something in me that I love to create videos, I love to make content, and I love to speak. And that might not be my full-time thing right now, but if I had never gotten out of flight school, I don't know if I ever would have done stuff like this. And that's what I'm trying to get you to understand for your life. If you didn't go through that season that was hard, that you feel like was pointless, that you lost time from, or that you went through heartache or disappointment or failure, if you didn't go through that season, would you get to where you need to be? Only God knows that. He brings us through times to teach us things. And it says that our sufferings produce endurance and give our faith a chance to grow. That's what it says in the Bible. So when we go through a hard season, a pointless season in our eyes, God is working behind the scenes and developing, sharpening our character, putting us through things to get us somewhere, to learn, teach us something that we didn't know. So don't look at it as lost time. Look at it as a season of refinement. You were going through that so that God could refine you to mold you into the person that you're becoming today. What if you needed to do that to become the man you're supposed to be for your family one day? Or what if you needed to do that to find what you're truly meant to do? See, if you trust in God, you just have a little bit of faith, nothing is ever a waste of time. Because God can use any circumstance, any season, and he takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it for good. So no matter how dumb you feel you are, no matter how behind you feel, think about it as a season of refinement that God's using to develop you into a person that you need to be. And don't look at it like you're behind. There's no clock of where we're supposed to be. There's this societal expectation that we need to be here at 22, 25, need to do this, have kids then, get married then, have this much money by then. There is no timeline for life. That's a stereotypical social thing. But God has a very unique journey for you laid out. Only you go through the life that you have. Only I went through what I went through. And there will be people that go through similar things, and it's cool that you can use your testimony one day to teach them. But everybody's journey is different. I think that's actually what's cool about life. God takes us through different paths. And you know that your life is unique to you because God made it that way. No one has your fingerprint, just like no one has your print of life. And it's not a linear line. We're not going to go from here to here and get exactly what we want and say, God, I want this. I'm going to go straight. No. God's going to say, are you ready for this? Let's go here and here to see if you're ready for that. And through those seasons is when your life is actually developing. And that's when you're learning the most, believe it or not. It's not a waste of time. It's actually what I'd like to say, a mandatory season. You never see the growth of the storm until you never see the purpose of the storm until you see the growth it produces. It's raining outside right now. And maybe I could have woken up today and seen it pouring down rain and gross and cold and just nothing out there. But what if that storm is the thing that those plants and flowers needed to bloom their brightest? If you think about life and seasons, we're in winter right now, but in your life, you might be in any of these seasons. And if you're in winter in your life, you might be in a storm right now. You might be in a dark season that you don't quite understand. But you know what? Every single time, every single year, spring comes after winter. What happens in the spring? Flowers start to bloom. The days get brighter. Things feel happier. It gets warmer. So no matter how dark of a season you're in, just know that God has a spring coming for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it is or where it is or what it is. There's always a brighter season after winter. And I believe that God planned it like that. Why do you think we have these seasons? So we can see the changes. Just like in our lives, there are seasons of change. And you have to get through the season that you're in to be able to reap that harvest and to see those beautiful flowers bloom in the spring. And how do you get through those hard seasons? You trust in God and God alone. It's a thing called faith for a reason. We're not going to know all the answers. We're not going to know every step to take. But the time that you spent right now that you think is wasted might be the very time that you needed to develop that trust in the Lord. What if God didn't want you to have it all figured out so that you would need to rely on Him? That's how I look at it. In my life, when I went through flight school and when I got out, I was, going crazy. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Well, if I knew exactly what I was supposed to do, I wouldn't really need to have faith in God. I wouldn't really need to look towards my Creator, the one who gives me purpose for my purpose. And if I didn't do that, I never would have gotten to where I was supposed to be. Nothing's a waste of time. God will use any season that you're in for your benefit, for your good. So what I ask of you is to trust in Him and Him alone. You got this. And look, I'm a man of God. I'm trying to become a man of God. And I think we can sharpen each other. Iron sharpens iron. That's what this channel is for. Join the community in the description. I have a book out called Fearless Masculinity if you want to grow in your relationship with God. And if nothing else, click that subscribe button. We'll push each other to become men of God. See you guys next time. Peace.